We are not entitled to hold the galaxy. The only way we can survive is to accept this. We were never dominant. We were never the greatest in the galaxy. But for our lives, and all those of our ancestors, we have somehow convinced ourselves we are entitled to the galaxy. And that someday, that will come to pass. We could not accept how untrue this was. We began to pervert our own worlds. We went from saying that we would rule the galaxy to saying we would unite it. We no longer said we were entitled, even destined, to hold the galaxy. We say among ourselves we are entitled to lead, and that leading others makes us strong. In a way, we are. Our collection is strong. Many call themselves by our names, and many now consider themselves part of us. But there are those who do not. Many of those have fallen in war, many are gone now. But there are still many who are not part of us and never will be. Many who we will never rule. The Vuxin, still calling themselves an empire, are too proud to join the collection. The Lant, who shun all planets and have for centuries. And most importantly, the humans. The humans are, to many, the only ones like us. The only ones who have thought to create a collection like ours. Their collection was not like ours though, built from our colonies, technology, and worlds. Their collection is built from a history of war. They have fought many bloody wars with many species, for space, for defense, even for simple insults. They have brought many who they have conquered into their collection, species that were once equal, or even greater. These species, along with ours who were simple allies invited in, then fight for them. They have changed more in the last 2 centuries than we have in our entire history. Their first contact with any species not their own was a Vuxin invasion. No species not extrasolar capable had resisted the Vuxin for longer than several hours. The humans fought them off entirely in that time. Their methods were terrifying, intentionally setting off an uncontrolled nuclear reaction. The resulting explosion and radiation damaged much of their own infrastructure, poisoned parts of their land, resulted in some deaths of their own people. They considered this preferable to the alternative, which would have been an age of prosper as a part of the Vuxin's collection-like empire. They knew what would happen. They had set off these weapons before. They had many thousands of them, exactly the same as the one used against the Vuxin flagship, enough to destroy themselves if they had ever wanted to. And there were those humans, in those times, who would have done it. The humans do not think like we do. They do not think together. Their history before their first contact is the same as their history afterwards. Their diplomacy is slipshod. Their war is constant. They had been at war with themselves for tens of centuries before any other species found them, dividing themselves into petty tribes. Every development they made was for the purpose of increasing their tribe's power, and the only real measure of power was the ability to kill other humans. They first discovered things as simple as steel and explosives in an effort to make better weapons to kill other humans. They first unleashed the power of the atom, one used universally for peaceful fabrication and power generation, as a weapon against their own kind, in their own lands, poisoning their planet. They considered this a triumph. The human tribes could only unite in the face of an enemy. There is a human saying, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend." What they forgot to mention is that this is their only friend. Their tribes, once they were calling themselves nations and arming themselves for terrible wars, made allies to fight larger, more dangerous tribes. Their alliances, once these wars were over, would persist in name, but in spirit, the tribes would work against each other now that they were only threatened by the other. The introduction of other species has done something terrifying to this disjointed, broken, barbaric species. It has united them. All their tribes now have a common enemy, and that enemy is us. Their pathetic attempts at a governor over all humanity became dominant the second it became clear they could turn their guns towards someone who didn't share their homeworld. Their pathetic attempt, then, they decided to make the model for their collection. They rule their collection only in name. Any species is given representation on their level, in numbers they and the others consider equal to their importance and size. Conquered species, after a time, become equals with the others. Their collection does not even bear their name. But there is no doubt that the rulers of the collection are still the humans. The humans are the only ones frightening enough, with enough sickness as a species to harness atomic and worse forces as weapons, with enough blindness as individuals to toss themselves into a battle they cannot win. And this pathetic slipshod foundation is stronger than our true one. They are stronger than even us now, and anyone who denies it has not learned their history, has not read of their weapons, and most certainly has not seen them in battle. We, the physically weak by right, learned to dominate by our minds and our words. The humans, strong by will rather than right, learned to dominate by force, but to know how to dominate by the simple idea of force when it is not necessary. And the others do not even hate them for this. Even in our own collection, speak of the humans to another and you will hear of their goodness, their ideas of equality, their practice of democracy, their freedom and liberty. You will hear wishes of them to join our collection, even wishes for our collections to merge as equals. Ask of their war, all you will hear is their fight against the Vuxin, their liberation of species that the Vuxin had found and raised up. You will not hear of their continued aggression against those who even insult them, their internal conflicts that persist even now. But somehow, their aggression and their war has won them the battlefields of the galaxy and the hearts of its inhabitants. If we ever fight them, the humans will destroy us entirely. They simply do not understand the limits that any civilized species has on war, and they have corrupted the others in their collection, who now wield the same weapons they were once terrified of. The weapons they condemned as the end of all life. Their soldiers are taught to fight with the same insanity that led to humans fighting the Vuxin with weapons that poisoned their own people. Even other species learn these because of the insanity of the human organization. They will crush us if we ever merge collectives in any way as well. They simply offer more to the other species in their collective. They are so willing to balance their own power on a fine line simply to gain more territory, more power. Our own collection, even now, talks of their ideas, thinks that such a ridiculous balancing act of power might be preferable to a strong rule. The humans rule strongly anyways, of course, but this rule is so easily toppled if even one of their allies goes astray. And yet this wins them the friendship, and even the service of species once greater than them. The galaxy is not ours. All these words are not insults to humans. They are praise. They are what will rule the galaxy. Their insanity is their strength, their willingness to chance death at any hour, their total absence of limits, their ridiculous politics. All of this makes them the most dangerous force in the galaxy, more dangerous than the Vuxin, more than the dead Zik, most certainly more than us. They cannot be stopped. The galaxy is not theirs by right, but it is by will.